Oh yeah. At last. Oh no! I'm gonna spill all these little flowers everywhere. Now I'm gonna have a big old mess. And everyone's gonna just be real upset. And by everyone, I mean me. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Be-dee-dee, doo-doo-doo. So we gotta go to live, and then we click on this one. That's the hobby hangs, baby. And I think we're gonna try to mute this time. Maybe. Let's mute this time. Because if we do that, then I can listen to some tunes, maybe, depending on what we're doing. But I think we're gonna probably be working on. I'm gonna be working on this boy. Maybe some drawings though. So, got a couple different things that are a little exciting to talk about. And by a couple different things, I mean a lot of different things, I guess. Oh boy. Too many videos that look the same. Too many windows that look exactly the same, pulled up at the same time. So yeah. But, man, I gotta tell you, I'm liking the whole plan of having like a little arm that comes down. I can have really whatever angle I want on here. That's a good fucking idea. Called it. Bam. And just imagine how good it's gonna look when this is even remotely done. This is just like, I'm working on it, babies, but trying to think of where to start. I got a whole bunch of things. Whiteboard over here. And some sketches I've been working on, so I've got those ready to talk about. Which I'm very excited about that. That is for something that it'll take a while. It'll be a while, but eventually that's going to be a thing I'm really excited about. I'll wait and see if anyone pops in chat. That way I can actually just talk about it with someone. Because it'll be more natural than talking about it by myself. But otherwise, I'll start talking about that here in a second. I'm going to move these books and my wallet. You would think that starting later on Tuesday, I would be like, oh yeah, he's all geared up. No, I've been down here cleaning and shit, but I also got Greeblin going. Greeblin has been resting for days. This is the longest rest that Greeblin has ever known in its life. But that rest, as all things, must come to an end, my sweet little Greeblin. Put that in there. Pants seem like a good place for a wallet to go. I'm going back in my pants. What did I sit on? Something brick. Colored. Probably a brick. Okay. These. So, currently, Greeblin is printing out some tiles. Specifically, they look more like this. They are flat. But these are for Project Mobius. Project Mobius, well, they're not for Project Mobius, they are by Project Mobius. Project Mobius is a creator on My Mini Factory and Patreon. I'm sure they probably have some other. I think actually those are their only two sites. I think they have a website, but when I checked, it was very difficult to see. But I am very quickly becoming a very big fan of them. And I'm a very big fan of them, especially because of the open lock, the way that open lock works, and that's not on them. Like, open lock, just being able to connect these to each other almost makes it like adult Legos, almost. So, being able to print these and then paint them up and have interchangeable walls and whatnot, that's going to be absolutely sick. It's going to be very good, and that's why I'm just printing. The very first thing that I'm printing is, it's called Ishikawa. I don't think, that seems like a bad idea. Yeah, I'm not going to try to do that. Fuck it. Let me pull it up. I really need to get better at knowing what the fuck I'm doing with this stuff, so I can just pull it up and show you on here as opposed to having to use what I'm about to do, is just terrible. But I don't want to waste the time learning that right now, and I will eventually, I assure you. So this is Ishikawa, the Forbidden Apartment. It is a large apartment complex with pretty much each one of these floors is able to be accessed. It's supposed to be modeled after with the success of Neo Osaka, I present you the Ishikawa, the Forbidden Apartment. The idea concept is based on the Kowloon walled building in Hong Kong. I feel that the overall atmosphere of Kowloon walled city actually makes an interesting idea by turning it into a cyberpunk version of it. The Ishikawa is the Japanese version of it, where the apartment is pretty much self-sufficient, like a city on its own. It can be an expansion, multi-level building for the Neo Osaka set, or it can also be used as a standalone building. And why I've got the whiteboard over here to bring you all up to speed. And there, I look very, I do kind of look reddish. I had someone tell me, bed warm and soft. Actually, don't tell me that. I don't want to think about going and getting back in my bed and going to sleep. I've been awake for like an hour and 44 minutes. But man, it was really hard to get out of my bed earlier. I'll tell you that. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate. But do you need to get out of bed? You might just stay in there all day. I'm a terrible friend. But I gotta get out. That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. Well, good morning, sleepyhead. It's time to wake up. You gotta go to work. Bum bottom. Man, oh man, I had something that I was talking about. I was talking about this building, the Forbidden Apartment. That's what it was. Yes. The Forbidden Apartment. I've got this Forbidden Apartment that I go into. I don't go into it. Shit. Man, these... Trying to do this. Oof. Okay, here we go. I got it now. Pretty much today I did a whole bunch of things. So I've started to write on a whiteboard again, because that's probably a good idea to have some kind of game plan before you go about working on stuff. I've gotten in this habit of, because of the bricks and I think the tiles, the shingles or whatever, I have just been like, okay, go downstairs, work on the castle, go downstairs, work on the castle, just push through it. And while that is a good way to do things sometimes, if it's a very large project, you can't just push your way through like that, and you're going to burn yourself out. Even if it's something that you absolutely love. And that sucks. It sucks knowing that, and also like knowing that that's true, but also refusing to want to do that. Like, I don't want to work on something else because I'm like, I need to get the castle done, but I know there are definitely times when it's just like I need to step away and I need to work on something else. And that is one of the biggest parts of how to do successfully what I'm trying to do, but it's very hard. So I'm just making sure that I mention this here on stream for myself in the event that I ever do watch this again. And also for anyone that is wondering, man, you got a lot of stuff done. Or if you think that, I don't. Again, I'm just screaming inside about my amount of productivity I do or do not get done all the time. So how much I actually get. Did you see my message about the glazebrew? Glazebrew? I did not. I will look now. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. I've realized a glossy brew is perfect Slaanesh demon.
Horrible chimera monster. 4 arms, crab claws.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh. What is a glossy brew? Glossy brew. It is. It very much, it meets all the criteria. 4 arms, 6 limbs, crab claws, horrible chimeric monster. That's wonderful. It's a demon from D&D. That's wonderful. Okay. That's who I needed. I needed Etri to come in here and talk to me. I'm really, really, really excited. I'm going to kind of change where this is. So I've been talking, and I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this yet or not, but I'm really, really excited. So I'm going to talk about it. But a possible collaboration with some sculpting company, a beloved sculpting company. And we were talking about doing a collab of like, hey, try seeing, I'll sculpt a model, send it, get some casts made of it. They will sell it if it sells well on their site. Then it'll be one that they actually keep in production and people can keep buying. And they send me back a bunch of molds of it. But the idea of getting one of my things cast, and I was really excited because that sounds great. I would love to sculpt a model, and especially that way. And I'll just say it's ramshackle. I don't know if I'm new at all this, so hopefully this isn't like shitty things. But ramshackle, Curtis and I were talking because Curtis is a wonderful person. And after Visterion, he had a lot of very, very, very nice things to say that I very much appreciated and very much took to heart about the demons that I made, and about the openness that I put into it, and I guess the actual, it's Pride Month. It's Pride Month, but like my demons are very much, they were how I came out. So they're a very special thing to me, and Curtis from Ramshackle Games was very, very supportive and very, very stoked about all of them. And that really excited me. And as of recently, we were talking, and in regards to, when I went to Adepticon, reaching out to, other artists, other companies that are, have the same goals in mind of wanting to make art for art's sake, power to the people, not the, we don't want a fucking pile of gold to sit on. I want to make dope art that I love, and I want people to be able to have it for like something that's reasonable. And while I love the idea of being able to make it to where like, oh yeah, you can print this out, I love physical sculpting. Some of my all of my favorite models were physically sculpted. Most of them by Simon Egan, just to throw that out there. That man, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful artist. But Simon Egan did so many beautiful sculpts. One of my favorites is still the Tech Priest, the Magos Dominus. That, to my knowledge, is that Simon Egan, or is that? I'm pretty sure it's Egan, and I'm pretty sure that was one of the last things that he did physically by hand. Like he sculpted that one in green stuff. Eli, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful artist. Oh, well, thank you. I try. So this is my first idea. I came up with. I was talking to Curtis and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this idea. I'm so excited I could die. And then I started thinking, so we were talking about sculpting and all that kind of stuff, and I love it because I've never sculpted anything to get it cast. However, I'm just gonna keep getting up. I'm just a silly little guy like that, I suppose. However, I know a lot about casting because I happen to know 3 wonderful brothers who have been going down that road of casting for a very long time. And these are some of the pieces of, well, that is Shane, I believe. Actually, that might not be Shane. That's Shane's. This is Shane's. So this is Shane. Lunax 7070, I believe, is his handle. Both of these are that. So that was this is, I think, the first cast of his, like, Iron Hands. It's at least the first one that the Wires tried. He sent one of his models to the Wires, to my understanding, if I am getting this correctly. He sent one of his Iron Hands to the Wires to see if they could cast it, and that is where I got these. This is actually the very first. Well, this is not. This is a second casting. I have a couple of theirs, and they are. I'll talk about that. I'll put that on the list. We must deal with our GW past. I don't know what the word is in German. There's a word in German. It literally translates to, we must deal with our Nazi past. And I must deal with my GW past. It doesn't go away. We may be through with it, but it ain't through with us, BD. And I've thought a lot about it. And I think I'm happy with where it's a compromise. But yeah, so all these, while I'm showing these little pieces, I've learned a lot about casting already from them based on, I dropped a piece. It's a waggy. Anywho, so yeah, learned a lot from them about what Vergangenheitsbeobachtung. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Atri. Thank you. Oh, just like, I need someone to figure out how to write storyteller in like Futhark runes. It's like, oh, I'm completely versed in Futhark. It's like, but why? I love it. It's good. I'm a whiz at Google. It's good. It's good. I'm not. I'm really bad. I'm really bad at Google. I don't know. But yeah, so excited. Number one, and that's why I got this measuring tape out here. 3 inches. That, especially when I don't want to get out of bed. Oh, you're still in bed. Still laying in there in bed, huh? Well, I mean, to be fair, your bed is warm and soft and cozy. From what I've been told, based on what you said. Seems like you probably wouldn't want to get out. It wasn't really that hard for me to get out of bed today. I was very sleepy though, but I think it's because Kelly got up. Kelly got up, and as soon as she gets up, it's just like, well, if I don't get out of bed, then I'm being lazy. If someone is there like to lay in bed with me and be lazy with me, then I don't feel bad about it at all. But yeah, 3 inches. So the reason why I'm specifically measuring out to 3 inches is, speaking with Curtis, when casting, he said, you know, really max, you want the max height to be about 3 inches. Beds, that's where the cool kids hang out. Sometimes it's easy to hop out, but today feels hard for some reason. Yeah, no. Sometimes I can't get started. Back from nothing, yeah. That's a song by the Handsome Furs, and it pops in my head every single time I can't get out of the bed. But yeah, can't get started. Handsome Furs, good band. It's one of the guitarists from Wolf Parade and his wife Lexi. They're a 2-piece, but very, very, very fun band. Okay, so I wrote a whole bunch of things on here, and this is just a nice thing for me. I have a lot of issues with like self-hate and self-loathing, so I'm going to take a active step in being a decent person and practice mindful awareness and adjust my self-talk, set realistic goals, accept imperfection, and acknowledge my efforts. And I'm bringing that up because if anyone watching this needs to hear it, I'm really, really bad at talking to myself. Like, I talk really, really, really poorly to myself all the time, and always have. I have an extremely, extremely abusive inner monologue, and it leads to a lot of negative impacts on like the world around me, in my interactions with other people, just because I assume the worst things because I already am in such a negative space towards myself. So I really need to fix that, because I want to help other people be happier, and you gotta fix yourself. If you can't love yourself, how the hell can you love someone else? So this is my first drawing. I started this last night when I was getting ready to get in bed, and I was really excited about it. But the idea and the reason that I was measuring this guy out specifically is, I want to, number one, I thought, well, if I'm going to make something, ideally, I'm going to make 3 things. I would like to have 3 things because I like to do things in a set of a trio. And ideally, they're probably going to be demons. And ideally also cat related. So 3 demon kitties. That was initially what came to my head. I don't know if I'm still on there. I thought, hey, accept imperfection and set realistic goals. 1 demon kitty. And then I started to think about, and this is what I was talking with Curtis about, with digital sculpting, you need to keep in mind how supports work. So this is a great model for digital sculpting. 3-headed demon kitty. I didn't even think about that. Well, I didn't even think about that. A Chowberus, 3-headed demon kitty. Yeah, so this one is definitely a good model, digital model, like as far as design and printability. And the reason is because of how, when you print a model, it prints, well, one, it prints like this. So it prints upside down. So you want it to go like this. You need to control the support. So this is mainly one long piece and then a little boop here. And that's at a 45. So you really aren't going to have too much issue with the support on that going up anyway, especially if it's slanted like that at a 45-degree angle from the plate, which is how I typically print everything. Yes, this is a Lord of Tumors. I very much love this sculpt. It is one of my favorites from the French Crusade range, but I really wanted, the details are just nuts. I wanted to make sure that whatever I sculpt, if I know that 3 inches is about the size for the casting that Curtis likes to do, that will let me sculpt something that is the height of a Lord of Tumors, or a Praetor, or a Sorcerer. Praetor's got wider wings, but I wanted to make sure that whatever I could sculpt would be able to fit on a base size and be able to be a stand-in for a Praetor or a Sorcerer or a Lord of Tumors. One of your big baddies for Trench Crusade. I wanted to make sure that I don't want anyone else's IP in my shit. If it's like something that I'm sketching, I want it to be purely just one of my awful demons. And I definitely want it to be something that you can use in any of your games as long as it fits. But so the overall arcing idea, I've got the tagline: build your own kitty. Just add more skin or teeth or whiskers. So while coming up with this, to give you an idea of how my awful little brain works. Oh no! The roof is rolling. Someone please catch it. Don't let the baby burn. Okay. Okay. Anyway, just slowly work on turning my my hobby hang into a stream where I'm being chased around my my shop while also trying to explain how to do things. Okay, anyway. So, my notes here, sitting pretty, obviously. The little back legs are going to be hunched down. And this is obviously going to be just skin. Lots of skin. Very tight skin, emaciated. Very human-like back end, with a tail, of course. Sitting pretty. The arms, and I wrote this fem neckline front. So the chest, I want to have a set of lips. Feminine neckline inside of there, right here, collarbones. So essentially, inside of, imagine a person that the back half, so cat-boy hybrid. Cat-boy hybrid on the back end. So human body bent and shaped the way that a cat is, like the ankles and the feet. Like if you took a human foot and you bent it and broke it and just made it look like a cat foot, and then you made their bones and their legs bend to fit the way that a cat's does, and then gave them a real skinny tail. Imagine that. And then we come up here to a chest. Both of these are, again, very soft, arms kind of splayed apart, going down to hands that are very, very elongated. Fem neckline revealed from side-splitting lips, pulling down feminine arms to extended fingers with way too many digits and knuckles. So just lots of extra fingers and really long hands. And then up here, so the idea of lips, as in like your mouth opening. And then this says, peel these lips back like a reverse whalebone corset, BB. And then I drew a little heart. So whalebone corsets have always been something that I've found very interesting. They're crazy. One, they're insane. But two, well, there's a whole lot of things. I could talk about corsets from like an interested standpoint for a while. One, whalebone, it's just, I have so many questions. But two, they're also kind of horrifying. Corsets just they're kind of disturbing. They're really disturbing, actually, if you think about it. But, and I'd say, if anything, this was probably a stream of consciousness. I think yesterday I kind of popped into this space where I was like, I remembered that there is a drag queen that I'm a very, 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 very big fan of. Not like sexually, but like artistically. Whenever I think about Whalebones, I think about Dishonored. So I played Dishonored, but I never beat it. I only got so far, and I really need to go back and beat Dishonored. But I was thinking about that there's a drag queen that I love that looks a lot like. I find a resemblance in their facial structure with Tomas from Trench Crusade, like one of the guys from Trench Crusade. I've thought this since I saw this picture of this drag queen. I'm like, holy fuck, that looks like Tomas, the guy who made Mordheim. Long before, Trench Crusade. Favorite game series is Dishonored. Okay, I will give it a go then. I will give it another go through. I loved what I played of it, and it's very much. It plays very, very similar to BioShock, which is one of my. BioShock is my wife's favorite game, and it's honestly like it's top like 5 for me. That's the gameplay is also very great, but I loved the steampunk Victorian setting of Dishonored. There's too many games, like, and that's the problem I have now. Like, I'm trying to get through. We got the Midnight Walk, which I haven't talked about that. Which is, holy fuck, that's an experience. I highly recommend that for anyone. The Whalebones thing. It made me think about, there is one of my favorite drag queens, Violet Chachki. Violet Chachki has a similar facial structure to Tomas, in my opinion. Looking at the way that their bones are shaped. The thing that makes this very disturbing and why that probably popped into my head is because Violet Chachki is an artist on. Yep, I also have too many games. I need to retry Bioshock. I only beat Infinite. Got a bit into. You never beat one. Do you know all the spoilers for one? I hope not. But if you beat Infinite, then you kind of know about one. One's so good. Oh man, Infinite's so good too. Man, I need to go back. I need to play more games. I need to play less games. But yeah, Violet Chachki. Not really. I gotcha. Well, you should definitely play Bioshock 1. It is so good. I have almost gotten many tattoos, like absolutely just referenced from that game. And my wife has a couple. It's just such a good game. Such a good game. I forgot most of what was in Infinite. Oh man, I was gonna replay them on Steam. Then I switched to painting on streams instead. Fair enough. Well, and so that's the other thing, is it's just like I love playing video games, but I'm also just like, I need to be doing something productive with this time. So I only play video games when it's like really late on like the weekends, or if it's just like Kelly's like, I want to take a nap. Can I lay on you? And I'm like, okay. But yeah. So why was I talking about Violet Chachki is a drag queen that I really like, and I group them straight into the artist. They just do art. I mean, they do drag, but it's like they're so much more than just drag. Like, they are much more in the art of like, it's just performance art. They are a performance artist. And the biggest thing that they do, and I don't know if there's anyone that does this more than them, it's very horrifying. I can't imagine that someone, I'm sure there's probably one or two people out there that are even more insane. And I don't mean that insane like, Violet Chachki, clearly, they do corset stuff. They are the drag queen, at least from like RuPaul, like Drag Race, that like, if it's a corset they're talking about Violet, because she is like able to condense her body into like the ways that she's able to like corset to is disturbing. And that's coming from me. Like, it is so past what the idea is of using a corset that it's in like this other, it's in another realm. And to me, it's just pure fucking art. It's horrifying, and it's like very close. I mean, it is like, yep, this is how you start worshiping Slaanesh IRL, is like clearly trying to achieve like a form of perfection that is not only not sustainable, but it is self-destruction in itself, and that is fucking art, in my opinion. And that summarizes like so much of what Slaanesh is for me, and I never see that Games Workshop ever gets that kind of a concept. But that's a lot to kind of condense down into models. So that was kind of what got on my head there, and I was thinking that I would want this demon to have its teeth, or like the teeth that are coming out of this mouth, like essentially this mouth opens up similar to, it's almost like a reimagining kind of Argalak, my demon that I made for the, man, it was the very first, it's a throwback, the Curse of the Alabaster. So Curse of the Alabaster, I made these demons and sent them over to, sent them to LA, to John Hartman, with Isaac. Isaac flew back, or went there with them. I milled them to Isaac, weirding way, and he flew to LA to play with them. But Argalak was based on a drawing of a Chaos Spawn by Adrian Smith, which is one of my favorite ones, but it's like, it's just really grisly, and there's just this skeleton coming up out of this mouth hole that's kind of doing this little number, and I've always loved that. Just a very orator No, orator. Yeah. Orator, oratio. Very, very good, like kind of just image. But that's where my idea of Arcalak came from. And then this would just be a creature that it's like its teeth kind of slide out like a I imagine like an anglerfish or a hatchetfish, but like they are so long and needle-like and crooked and broken that they like kind of catch the skin, so it kind of corsets its own mouth open. And then this long, bony, very almost just vertebrae kind of like neck just coming out. And then up here I got to the head. And I'm at the point where I feel like I want to have teeth going all the way around this, so it's like an open mouth on the outside, like kind of like that, like human teeth, not sharp teeth, but like more molars-esque. So it's only got like half. I even put a bra on for the first time in like a year. So good at getting out of bed and getting dressed. You put a bra on for the first time in like a year, 2. Bam. Calling it a day. That. There you go. Yeah. I get out of bed. I don't think so. Like my body does not distribute heat well. I don't think I have good circulation. But yes, teeth. I just remembered small details are harder to cast, of course. Yeah. So, and that was the other thing that I'm trying to really keep in mind, is that I really kind of liked, and this head shape, I really liked the idea of this head shape because it also lends itself very well to having essentially I'm gonna grab a demon. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab a demon. I'm gonna grab one of the ones I keep around here. So I wanted it to lend itself. Sorry, not to. Paramoria. Oh no, Paramore. A wild Paramore appeared. So I wanted to give, I guess, anyone who picks it up like a nice canvas. God, that's so fucking awful. A nice canvas to drape skin on. And I liked the idea of if I use this, like, without giving it a mouth, a set mouth, but giving it little, like, beady eyes that are very good for, say, pulling fabric over to where it, like, kind of is very clearly like it's wearing a mask of skin. That's the idea that I kind of wanted to do. And then same thing, yeah. So build your own kitty. Just add more skin or whiskers or teeth. It's up to you, BB. So, but yeah, that's what I got there. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna keep dabbling with that, but I gotta do some touching up. I'm in the business of misery. Oh man, got it ticking like a clock. I'm in the business of misery. Man, I'm not going to remember that, though. My wife would be very, very, very disappointed in me that I don't know verbatim every word to Business of Misery. Also, big news. Steve saved a kitty. Did we talk about that? Steve saved a kitty. There's pictures of it on the Insta. Go out there, thank a fireman if they're not shitty. I don't know how you'd know that. I don't know how you'd know which firemen are shitty. I don't know. Lord tumors, eh? So, teeth. Here is a castle. It's a castle just for us. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so that's a lot of the stuff that I've got going on with the kitty thing. I'm gonna do a little bit of that today. Drawing, kind of trying to come up with more ideas sculpting wise. The rest of the stuff that I wrote on here, just ask if they're vaxxed. That is true. That is true. Man. That's it. That's it. I can't. That is a really good. That's a really good way to tell. How you tell if they're an asshole? Just ask if they're vaxxed. Yeah, I don't remember which vaccination I went, but it's the one that doesn't have the microchip. I didn't want the microchip. I don't remember. I don't remember what we got. Pfizer? I think we got the Pfizer whenever the vaccine was like first popping off, when everybody was getting real into vaccine. Well, I mean, to be fair, I've always been really into vaccine. I've always thought that it was kind of a cool idea, not having diseases. I've always been really pro not disease, which is weird because you would think that being the little chaotic shit that I am, I would be very much pro spreading like death and disease. Oh, you got microchips for days? And let's see, it's like, oh yeah, no, yeah, you're right at ground zero, Hatcher. They've chipped you up so much. They're gonna be able to follow you for days. I do love, I don't know, all that. Anytime I talk to someone who is like clearly paranoid, and I can't stress enough. Yeah, the technology does. Nah, you're not a Nurgle lover. So I do like Nurgle, but I mean Slanesh is my thing. This is where I got my man. Okay, well that's good. Well, now you know. I don't know where I got mine from. I didn't really think I had any until right around Adepticon this year. After Adepticon, it was just I think I have autism. And my wife has tried to. I can't stress enough. It's not like man. Everybody else is saying that they have autism. I think I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. It's definitely been mentioned before, and I was like, no, I just have ADHD. They're just like, you could have both, and I was like, I don't think so. It turns out you can, and most people who have one severely definitely have some of the other. And like I'm like at the point where like the doctor's like, we don't know how you fucking function in society. So I guess real intense. Damn, I spread it. Damn it. I didn't even think about that, but man, it's okay. If I got it from you, that's fine, actually. Let's see. So I wrote male shapers to Nick, A, and then I wrote EH, but I couldn't remember if Canadians, if they used an H or a Y. Again, I use this whiteboard when I'm like, man, here is a thought that pops in my brain, and my brain's not typically working when I do it. But I need to mail the shapers to Nick. Nick, if you're watching this, I have not forgotten about you. They are right here. I need to put them in something, and I need to mail them to you, but I have them here. And I got some stickers for you, too, because I love it. Mail shapers to Nick. A. 30K. Use of flesh and blood to finish the third and first story with ZM tiles, but use my 3D printed model, showcase Turbo Dork, kisses, ooh. Rules, use ZM as basis, but build to one-page ZM, smash the Beatles, one page. So that was me trying to figure out what the hell I was going to do, how I function in society. Ha ha ha, I don't. Yeah, it's just like, oh, finding out that, it's like they can function in society. You all function? Yeah, so I've shown my ZM tiles here before that I started to work on, that I was playing 30K with Minecraft Children, and with my friends, Dark Angels and whatnot. I do think I am going to finish those. I've been trying to think, and that's why I wrote GW. I need to deal with my GW past, and that's why I kind of got out these guys. I absolutely am not abandoning that IP in the sense that, I'm going to destroy all Minecraft Children, I'm going to get rid of everything. It's not going to be the main kind of content that I focus on, because while I have so much invested I bought 3 Turbo Dork Adepticon, lost them. Oh no! That's awful news. I'm so sad to hear that. I love Turbo Dork paints. They are my first. I just kicked something off the little foot thing down here. They are my first affiliate. I think that's the term. They give me free paint and they love me and I love them. I think that's an affiliate. Well, they gave me paint. They not like a ton, like as much as I wanted, but I didn't ask for a ton. If you destroy them, send it to me. I will. I will. If I destroy them. What am I destroying? Oh, the Emperor's Children. So yeah, that has actually. I'm not trying to show you favoritism. That has been on the topic of, it's just like, well, I could send them to Atri, and it's just like, I should probably finish them. And I should do what I had planned on doing with them, because it is what I was working on with my buddy Ed, and I do really want to kind of finish that story. And I could tell that story in other IPs, but it just kind of feels like it's not the same. And the other side of that is so much of like, oh, I don't want to mess with that, is I don't want to give Games Workshop any more attention. The other side of that, though, is I don't play around in Games Workshop's like play space. I like to take Games Workshop's IP and then go to my own play space, and I hang out there. And that's what I've always done because of fear, and very valid fear. Yes, you should finish that. It feels very meaningful. I think so. I think I could tell the same story in other universes, but it's not the story that we were telling together. And also I think honestly you should like make a zine of the story too. Yeah, I think I want to document it like very heavily. And I really wanted to try and, when I'm zooming in on these, I want this to look as intense and photorealistic for like what I'm trying to make. I want to be able to take almost like the battle reports or just like snippets from like games and make almost like a comic. Like I want it to be able to be valid enough that like you would buy this and be like, this is quality enough that it is a comic like level of like, just full HD, a story that instead of drawing a comic, physically taking pictures of it. That has always been something that I've loved the idea of. And the first thing that I thought of doing that with was Gundam. I love Gundam unapologetically and always have. It's one of my first like sci-fi loves. I mean, it was definitely after Star Wars and stuff, but they are the OG big robot. So it's just, well, not the complete OG. There are a few before, but damn few. Transformers are pretty much, they come from Gundam. So, and Transformers were the first big robot in my life. I did not know at the time that they were the American Gundam. So I was really excited about possibly doing that, using photos to try and tell a story in the Gundam universe, specifically like one along the lines of like Thunderbolt or 8th MS Team, one that's like brutal as fuck. Yeah, that the same kind of concept. Just I really want to do that, and I just have so much to tell everybody. There's so many things. My buddy Sam is now going to be able to help me with a lot of stuff. So having another set of hands is crazy. He's coming over today. He's coming over for dinner. We're going to talk to him, hang out with him. I think so. The world that was, that would be World War One. I'm just gonna pull this a little bit closer. Still don't think you can see it, but now I can touch it. I'm trying to keep my brain organized, or at least compartmentalized into different sections of what I'm building and what they are used for. And because there are so many games that I love and that I want to play, there's so much overlap between them, like in the sense that trees, like the old spooky dead trees that like I really like to like try to make. Those will be really good for both Merkborg, Forbidden Psalms, like fantasy, as well as World War One. They don't really work for Cyberpunk though, because trees typically are not. In my world, there's no trees in Cyberpunk land. They're all gone. They're all gone. We don't have those anymore. Might have fake trees, but and then Flames of Orion. That's a scale change. So this is the only thing that's not on the same scale. So the Golden City is a thing that I have been wanting to make for a hot minute, but I've been trying to decide on conceptually how I want to go about doing it. And I think I want to do it. I think I figured out how I want to do it. A while back, I talked about the idea of making a book, like an art book, but I would want it to be like a tome that I don't know. I think I still am almost leaning that way. That I would rather almost the Golden City being a section in a book, or a separate book, like a part of a tome, a larger tome, split apart. But the idea of taking the concept of the demon King Piss, this other being that I've come up with, and how it integrates into different worlds in storytelling that I do. And the Golden City is absolutely, I want to carve out a chunk in the game Cyborg, which is Merkborg, but Cyberpunk, and there is a big map. I want to carve out a section for myself, and I want to build a city. Essentially, I want to build a city from the ground up that is overrun by this god being that is referred to as King Piss. And I don't know if I'm still kind of on the verge of, do I want it to be someone that like rose up and achieved like godhood, or do I want it to be like, it's rumored that it's a demon or it's an AI. It is, who knows? But yeah, it started its own city. In the middle of this city, it's like I like that kind of idea. And the reason that I wrote this here, I not only want it to be something that people can play Cyborg, like I want to make a module for it. I want to physically make a board that I can then take that world and I can go and play kill, sample, process, and I can be like, oh yeah, hey, this is that street that we were talking about, King Piss. So yeah, King Piss, and that's King Piss is it's also the child inverted. King Piss, the child inverted. There's another Mariane or Marie Rex, which is King Piss in Latin, but it's Miarne, M-I-A. There's a fancy way to say piss in Latin, like a romanticized way to say piss, and it's King Piss is not. The whole thing comes down to I invented a character called King Piss years ago, and essentially, it is a musician. It is a art concept, but essentially, it's the greatest band of all time. King Piss is the greatest band of all time, isn't it? It was just a little joke thing that I made up, but the whole thing comes down to it is the King Piss is an absurd name. Laudium? No, it's Miarne, M-A-E-R-N. I'll have to look. I've got it written down somewhere, but I looked into there's yeah, it starts with an M, but King Piss, not as in urine. And yeah, so I also like I've made one track so far, but I was putting out music under the name King Piss, and it's not piss as in urine, it's piss as in like. I was kind of talking about that yesterday, but Australians have a bunch of different, like piss in like Australian slang means like 10 to 15 different things. And in this sense, it's like, it's what I think of when I think of like when an Australian says, oh, like taking the piss. It's just like, it is a joke, or it's like it's an audacious joke. It's a joke that's so big, it's just like, oh, he's really taking the piss. It's just over the top, and that's kind of the idea of this was it was just like it's the larger than life versions of myself essentially, and that's the same thing with the child inverted. Child inverted is another like aspect of that, the concept of king piss. Just a it's me, I think, dealing with like me acknowledging the god complex that I am capable of having, and playing in that space in a somewhat healthy way, I think, as opposed to just falling in and yeah, yes, Mictare, Micture, Mictare, I think. I don't know. I'll have to look. I don't think I have her in down here, but I might. Nope, that's the kitty. That's the kitty. I don't. I'll find my notebook, because now I'm wondering too. Where the hell did my notebook go? It's upstairs. I think it's. Wait a minute. Did I put it in? I don't think I put it in though. No. Nope, I don't think I put it in the chat. No, that sounds right. Sorry. I'm just gonna go grab my notebook. I'll look at it. I'm gonna think about that until I figure it out. Well, this is embarrassing, but I don't see it in there either. So that's that. I've got it written down in a notebook. I have too many notebooks. I see that I was working on getting ready to play Caveat Emptor, which is very fun. I might do that. I might do that tomorrow, and stream it because that's fun. One-page dungeon, cream piss, artsy answers. I did start writing some stuff, book stuff. Castle, Dogwood, trees. No. Unless it's under Cyborg. Nope. Or Necropolis? Nope. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I fucked up. There is a notebook around here that I probably wrote it on. I don't like that I'm going to be fixated on this. All right, I've hit the conclusion. I'm just gonna be looking around forever if I don't. Sorry. I'll find it. I will find it. But I gotta think about anything else, or I'm gonna be stuck in this loop. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey. Yeah. Mire. MEIA with the accent RE. Miri Rex. That would be it. King Piss. Yeah. So, and that was, I was trying to come up with a overall arcing name, because I've got the Grimdark Distillery for showcasing games. As far as putting out music, I've put out music under the names Fur and Teeth, King Piss, One Page Dungeon, and I'm probably going to still do One Page Dungeon for, I think that is going to be what I use to record, like dungeon synth and other kind of music that you would listen to while playing games. King Piss is just rap, so that's that. And Fur and Teeth is my old band, which if you're ever bored and want to check out my old band, just look up Fur and Teeth. We do have a pretty good video on the YouTube called "They Didn't Take Our Beds," which I can put that in chat if anyone actually wants to see it. If your music tastes are along those lines, alternative rockish. Yeah, I wrote a bunch of weird shit on there. I wrote a bunch of weird shit on everywhere. Kind of like this. Like I don't remember what I was doing at this point in time, but I was like, okay, I got it right. And it was like leather, lace, kittens, and I was like, I don't know where I was going with that. I think it was Etsy. It was related to my Etsy. I don't know. And then I wrote, how the fuck is this the same? Because it was just like, I was trying to think of going out in my backyard and sizing out all of Grimdale. Like, I forgot that printed, and I ended up here. And it has to do with that demon, but I don't know how. And eventually it'll come to me. But I know it doesn't have to do with designing the map in the backyard. Ain't no lace. No kittens. Or backyard, for that matter. Anywho, but yeah, so I think after that, Miare, M-E-I-R. The A has an accent over it, and that's, it's not an umlaut. No. Okay. I was afraid I was going to spill coffee all over me. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to start just gluing stuff. I've talked a lot, done a lot of dicking around, and now it's time to maybe do some work. But I've absolutely enjoyed. Thank you very much, Atri, for keeping me company and talking to me about demons and other things. But yeah, I think my Emperor's Children, I definitely do think I should finish them. And the reason that I got this guy out was because I was talking about GW, and I was talking about Games Workshop, and I was talking about doing something with them. I have so many of these true scale Marines like this that were based off of the Wires and Shane's sculpts, and I think I want to make something to play in the event that they were doing. I know Shane had something heresy related going on, but it was much more small scale, like 10 Marines or less, and then like humans, to try and kind of show like, oh yeah, like one Space Marine running into like a group of like 20 dudes and just turning them into a paste. It's just like, I'm down with that kind of a game. Games that like, a game that makes them kind of play the way they do in the lore, and in like the role-playing games. The role-playing games are just stupid, like as far as how OP Space Marines are. Like it's just like in Death Watch, you pretty much could just like, okay, if we're gonna go down to the planet and we're gonna punch party our way to the top, just punching people in half. But yeah, so I'm gonna use these, I think, to make some Emperor's Children. I don't want to devote too much. See, I say that I don't want to devote too much time, but I enjoy the IP. I don't like the company. And I don't like the way that they handle things. I don't know. I think all of it really comes down to just the way that they handled Primaris really just really upset me. And it's just because one, it was just bad. It's just bad storytelling, and then two, it's just like it's a prime opportunity for them to have fixed so many things, and instead they just doubled down, and that's I don't personally like to support that. However, with that said, all of my Emperor's Children are like 3D printed, and then Scratch converted. So, and then the boards that I was playing on are 3D printed. Like I can show how people can enjoy IP without throwing money towards Games Workshop. That is a thing I can do. And I guess it's not that I'm just like, oh, I want to dismantle their oppressive establishment, which I'm not saying I don't. I am simply stating that I don't need to fully burn everything. I don't need to burn every bridge. There's still things that like I do want to personally enjoy making myself. So yeah, along that lines though, like the stuff with like the Warcry, yeah, I'm glad that we removed the iconography that we did, because now it's going to be useful for every game that we play as opposed to just one game that we play. So I am excited about that. I'm excited about the idea of dabbling in that IP, optimistically and cautiously, very specifically, but it's not. I've spent so many years in that it's definitely going to be on the back end. This is still number one, and after this, I really think we're going to. After 1490 Doom, it's probably going to be a quick little hop over into Necropolis, and then lots and 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 lots of Trench Crusade, and probably Cyberpunk shit, while also playing games on this. I just meant building wise though. Like, I'm trying to get through building this board, and then I'm going to build a bunch of little guys to play on it, and then we'll play. And I'll build other things for other games. And that's the plan, is to continue that until I have enough boards. Quick, yeah. Just a quick little pop over into Necropolis and build 2 boards and a countless amount of war bands, which I did get really excited. I don't think I showed this. Oh boy. Oh, Eve. Okay, so I got these big old things of plastic. Yeah. Something came with them. I like them though, because they are just shy of like 14.5 inches, which means that I only need like 3/4 of an inch on each side, and this is going to be a Necropolis sized board, and I have 2 of them. This is a cathedral I was building at one point. Yeah, so I've got a whole lot of these, whole lot of guys just hanging from poles and stuff. That was a big part of the Styrian's undertow area. However, I was thinking about, what do I really need that giant, all those ruins for? And I was like, not really anything. So I took them apart, and this is the one that I'm really excited about. And I'll move this real quick just to give you an idea of how this kind of works. And by how this kind of works, I mean, well, that's just what happens. It's not how it works, it's just what happens. It's what my brain does. That does look like a Beyblade arena. Now I get it. I was like, what looks... Oh, yeah. So, this. Oh, my goodness. Hold on 1 second. Okay. That looks good. Yeah. Okay, so. Uh-oh. Oh, a little droopy there. I never finished what else I was saying, but not only is my buddy Sam now going to be more available for me to borrow him, but what does it say? Me? So yeah, this. sorry to give you guys all the spinning and then just not trying to give you a peek down my top. So I really, and this is typically what happens is I will look at something and I'll be, all right, cool. And then I'll go to walk away and my brain will just be like, "Bleh," and just like an image will just pound its way into my skull. And I have to somehow find a way to remember what the fuck that image was. It's cool. It was hot. Thanks. Pretty, not much. I have zero to show off, except my pecs. So I've got a lot of Cities of Death terrain. This is what was making up those ruins. I took them apart because I don't see myself playing on them because of a lot of reasons. But I do see myself using them slowly. I'm gonna have to go in, but like all these faces, I feel like just kind of remove those faces, swap a little skull in there, bam, baby, done. There's a lot of skulls. Skulls are good for Necropolis. This guy is a little bit too big, but I'm gonna make it fit in there. Essentially, after I saw this, all I could see, I'm gonna have to get a different door. Actually, that might not fit. Well, this one, we'll just do this. All I can see after looking at this, and here's another door, is a area that is like, almost like, if you've seen Squid Games, or Squid Game, all I can imagine is walking around up here and looking down and seeing more hallways that just kind of lead to each other. And that gets me so pumped. And then I just started to think about how do I make this plastic mold and look like it is part of these buildings and let that slowly dictate the shape. So essentially this is going to be a door with a walkway. And at this point in time, I'm not sure if I want to do a bridge going over this one, but I'm kind of leaning there. And that's the other thing with it being deep. I can kind of raise it. So, you know, it's going to have like a wall, say here, like you won't be able to see in, but the board goes down in, but it's also going to go up. I want it to be a very, very vertical board with lots of different levels that you can get down in between. And I think that is a use of the Cities of Death terrain that I will actually be really happy with, because I have tried to do like 10 to 15 different things with them over the course of 20 years almost, but fuck me. Blah. Yeah, that's 19 years. 19 years. I have had these things. I got them probably about 2006, 2007 max. No, 2006. It would have been 2006. That's when Cities of Death came out. 2006. So these are 19 years I've been trying to figure out what the fuck to do with them. So yeah, we're gonna figure that out real quick, baby. Yeah, I'm stoked. That's what we're gonna build that Necropolis board with. And then the other one, this one, I was on the idea of a reservoir. Just a bunch of bridges kind of going over top of a water, like there is a section of Necropolis that talks about the different kind of terrain and settings and place like that to have your battles in, and one of them is like the swamps with a lot of like standing water and stuff, and that I thought would be this might be a good kind of way to do that if I close this off, and then I can actually fill this up with resin. I thought that these were good little streams, like almost a there's an episode of Adventure Time that I love. I don't even remember what it's called, but it has a deer in it. And Finn Finn breaks his legs. He breaks his legs, and then he like is in a coma, or he's just like in the hospital for months. But then he wakes up, and everyone is gone except Jake, who has a head injury and he can't remember. And there's this really scary deer that is kidnapping candy people and dragging them down to the sewers and like alien style cocooning them. And he's in an area kind of like this. Like there's a walkway around the edge, and then all like the sewers kind of dump into this main central area. And I want to say a reservoir, a sewer reservoir, maybe along those lines. But yeah, the idea of this being like where all of the water kind of flows, the aqueducts flow. Just another word for it. I was close to it. Damn it. My mom has one in her backyard. It's not been used in 100 years. It's not a well. Cistern. It might be a cistern. Cisterns are used to distribute water in the like underground system part of like irrigating, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe something like that. I think it'd be kind of cool. And it's, again, the fact that there's just very little space, and then it's a 16-inch board. I really am excited about that. This is not related, but I figured I'd show it to you while I'm here. This is the cathedral that I was building. I might have already shown this before, but and these guys are just need to go down in there. This was the cathedral I was building for Visterion, with a very, 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 very large. This was a bell tower. So that is the bell. This is one of the bells. That is the other bell down here. It's smashed through the floor already. And then this, of course, would be the very, very, very large axle. It's an axial something. Axle. It's an axle. But this, specifically, it's what the chain would hook to. So that the chain hooks to that. In the initial designs, there was a place over here and over here. There's two spots where the chain actually feeds down into the ground, where underneath there would be a contraption feeds up to it. And those contraptions do whatever they do. It moves the chain, pulls it like this. I did a whole bunch of math finding out if a large bell fell through the floor, what would that chain rip out? So essentially the chain was going to be about halfway out the wall, kind of pulled this way. So it's, and then here we are. You see where we got, that was like a year later, and that's absolutely going to be cut up to be used for other project stuff, I'm sure. Just from a standpoint of how much space it takes up. And usability and scale, there's just, while I do think it would be really cool, I don't have the space or I think the desire or need at this point in time to really go in on that many tables. Yeah, that looks so fucking sick though. Not to toot my own horn, but toot a toot 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 toot. Alrighty. So, done a whole lot of talking, and now I'm going to do a whole lot of walking. Right here. Yeah. Talked about the demon kitty. King Piss always toots their own horn. Oh, King Piss always toots their own horn. Not to toot my own horn, but I am King Piss, so do 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 do. Well, maybe it's because I'm King fucking Piss, isn't it? Yeah, to give a full, I didn't give the entirety of that, but that the King Piss thing is a shower thought. It started with a shower thought that I had years ago, in reference to one of those like old interviews that you'd see on like VH1, where they're like interviewing like some dude who's like in his 80s. And he's talking about something that's it's been so long, but it's over the top how crazy everything about it is. It was that. It was a fever dream-esque kind of like shower thought of me making up a band called King Piss, and like subconsciously just kind of ranting out a monologue about it. And then I went to work and I said that to some people and they laughed very, 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 very hard. And that very quickly turned into a concept of, okay, well, maybe actually I will make some music under the name King Piss, because very quickly it went from being a joke to I really fucking like the name King Piss as a band because it is such a firm decision. And that's out of all the bands that I've been in and like music that I've done, like when you come up with a name is always something that's just like it's important to get a good one. And King Piss is it's not one you accidentally stumble on. Like you don't accidentally like I guess that's what I loved so much about it is a name that insists upon itself because of the audacity of itself. It's just you don't go by King Piss accidentally. It's a very firm decision and it's like a flex in itself, at least in my opinion. And I've always found that very, very funny. So that's where King Piss came from. And then there is probably a couple videos out there on the internet of me talking in a British accent about being King Piss, or the artist known as King Piss, or formerly known as King Piss. Yeah, probably on Dragged into Turbo Lasers or Between the Bolter Movies. Yearly thing. I think British Nick and I joked about that for a hot minute one year. Anyway, so sticks and stones. We got our glue out, got our zip kicker out. From here, I'm going to grab some tweezers. It's 8:58. Yeah. Oh no! I don't know what I just knocked off. Blades. 81 minutes. It's cool. Give it a shot. 8:59. It's 8:59. I might put on some tunes, but I might not. That might be distracting. Instead, I'll just throw on my keyboard. Alrighty. So, to kind of show what I've been doing with this, these guys down here. These are not the tweezers I wanted. Silly me. That's the problem with having a bunch of shit all over your desk. You got a bunch of shit all over your desk. So, this little guy. So, I'm pretty pleased with how these look. Yeah. They look very much, I think, like a plant that has died and is like just, it's doing its thing. I think scale-wise, they look like a dead tree or a dead bush. I have seen bushes that looked like that at this scale. Well, not this scale. They look like something I've seen if I was that small. Let me rephrase that. Where those came from are these guys. And I'm going to have to think about what they came from. They came from, these came from a bush in my backyard. It is a type of hydrangea, but this is essentially just a little connection of a bunch of little flowers. And I went in and I snipped off all the heads. So, to give an example, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. And these scissors I'm using are pruning specific pruning shears from Fiskars. I picked these up specifically to only cut dead plants with, so I do not get them dulled or anything else by trying to cut anything else except what they were actually designed to cut. And again, the reason that I'm doing it like this, these are dead, so they are very, 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 very brittle. As soon as like you kind of bump one of the spots that does not need to be bumped, it might break. But as long as you don't touch anything too brittle, then we're good. So it's just more of a how, you know, slow and how delicate you can go about doing it. The main reason that I say to use these also is I have a lot of control over them. You don't want to use any kind of scissor or anything that has too much of a kickback. And that is because, and there we go. So that is with all the little heads kicked off. Now it looks like this plant. And I think that's very good, personally. Putting that down on the board next to others, specifically, let me see if I can, specifically, this area right here. So those little guys. These, right here. I think they look quite realistic. And I can zoom in a lot closer to give you guys a better view, in which I will. Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. As far as lighting, so I don't have any lights other than like my overhead light to show you like kind of that's the kind of lighting that I'm going to be using whenever I'm like doing this, just to be a little bit more in there and aware. But honestly, with all the lights that I've got, it's not too necessary. Pretty much where I'm going at from here is I've got a couple different spots, and this is why I stopped yesterday. I'm realizing now I need to make bricks or to create something that looks like brick. Maybe there. Hi. Here I am. That's good. Yeah. I like this better. Yeah. Huzzah. Now if I spin this, it's gonna boop it. Now what if I'm over here? Yep, still booping it. How far do I gotta go out to not boop? There. Okay, that's where the boops stop. And this is where the boops stop. The boop stops here. Not passing the boop. Okay. Oh boy. So, brick. That's what I'm talking about. There are a couple spots where I do not have any kind of plants. Like this is a prime example right here, where the brick is supposed to look like it has fallen out and created like a little pile. And there are other spots that is the case, that I've already got grass and roots and plants at. The idea is to establish where they were going to grow, and then go back in and put bricks and rocks around them at the base. And I am still going to do that. It's going to be a little bit more difficult now because of that. However, I'm very confident that I can put some rocks in there to change up just the height just a little bit. Majority of what is going to be back though is kind of going to be You're not going to see too much of it just because of all the undergrowth. I'm trying to keep that in mind while I'm going through here, that I don't want to do too much raising up if it's not going to actually be useful, and then I need to fill this in. There is a spot. I'll zoom right here. Don't look at my pants. Also, not to look like I have injection injuries. I had to give blood yesterday. That's what that is. I had to go to the doctor and give blood. Not shooting up. But on a positive note, they did not. They only poked me once. So a lot of times they have to poke me like 6 times. They're like, I just like poking you. And I'm like, why? Please stop this. It's got to get filled in, you sillies. Think you can walk around here with a hole in the castle like that? Nope, that's how you get rats. I've seen it happen. I'm guessing Miss Attree is getting ready. She has grown quiet, or has gone off to work already. But got out of bed finally, and that's good. So, I am thinking, where do I want to? This guy right here. But rats are cool. Rats are cool. I mean, I feel like rats are cool. So, yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna need a little more dirt here. Honestly, I don't even know. I'm really trying to make sure that it looks realistic in the right way. Attree was on the train a bit ago. Oh! Okay, I missed that! Honestly, you should like a zine store on the train will disappear when I go underground, but hang out till then. I see. That's when I was up and I was looking for that paper. Because I was trying to think of what that's called. The Yare. However you say King Piss and make it sound fancy. Call me King Piss, but make it sound fancy. That's a funny thing that I now like in my life, like, yeah, with Attree being like King Piss ? It's just like that's for me. That's nothing to really. Just, oh yeah, King Piss. I go out in public and people that I don't know will be like, hey yo, King Piss, from like when I'm at the bar and I'm like, oh hey, like I don't know who that guy is. He knows that I go by King Piss though, and that's fun. That's a fun thing. I think the last time that happened, it was at the Firewall, and they were like, do you know that guy? And I was like, I don't know that guy, but he knows that I'm King Piss. This is good. I like this. That looks like it'll be a fun little spot. So the whole idea that I'm trying to do here, given that everyone has to start on the edge, we want to make sure that this looks like a forest, but is also playable. There needs to be enough space between these guys, these trees, that a model can move. I want it to feel like it's an actual forest, but I also want it to be very clear that when they built this thing, they cut down everything within X amount of distance, because that would just be common sense. So I wanted there to be a very clear line that it was deforested, but then certain hardier, weedier kind of like things started to grow up in the protection of the keep, as opposed to out here, which with the light and whatnot, I would say honestly, these bigger trees are going to take most of the sunlight. So that's why when you see buildings and stuff with stuff growing up around them at the edges, it's easier for them to get shelter when they are establishing themselves, and then from there it's just a straight like trying to get as much light as possible that they can, which is where it's just sprouting out, branching out. I tried to make that like visibly like, yep, you can tell that the world is trying to take back this area from this keep, Again, down here, this wall looks pretty damn good, so I'm probably going to leave that as is. And we're going to put some plants there. I've already got one of those kinds of plants. I'm really trying to make sure that I don't mirror anything whatsoever. And I kind of just, I know this side is going to have some trees, but not here. They need to be able to walk around this corner. Or start here and kind of move. So there doesn't really need to be anything right there, I don't think. I like that being open. This needs to have something in it, though. That area needs some filler. And I'm thinking a bunch of those kinds of weird little bushes. Yeah, maybe this stuff. Is that tall enough, though? Yeah, I think so. Whew. Getting crazy. Getting crazy with these spins. Okay. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Boop. And that's it. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, it's pretty much, that is pretty much it. Like, we are going to kind of hold that there for a second. Give it a little blow. Then I might grab another one of these guys. And this is how I've made all these bushes. It's just slowly, piece by piece, grabbing parts of sticks and reassembling a bush. It is easier when you do it like that one, where it's, not too heavy in one direction, so it'll stand itself. I might go this way now. And I also might just grab these, put them all on my hand. That way I can rotate the whole board and go back over where we were. And again, so these have not been finished. These have not been sealed yet. This particular, the rest has. These have not. But that is solely because I was not sure how I wanted to use them, because they still had those little seeds, those little leaves on there. And I also, I will find the names of all of these things, and I will document that somewhere, because that's probably something people would like to know. But this stuff, it is a type of a hydrangea bush that I have in my backyard. And when its flowers die, they kind of turn into these weird little things, look like this. So as opposed to a normal hydrangea, which has a very round kind of leaf or blossom, these have a very conical kind of honestly, its flowers look like they just look like cones, like big cones. Okay, so from here I would take this guy and just break that little one off, because plants don't typically grow like that. They do grow like that though. Trees do and stuff. So then we would just take that and kind of stick it down in here as well. And again, I am trying to achieve a sense of like how they would actually grow, because I know there is going to be other stuff. I might come out a little further with these. Maybe it's that way. Thinking. And we definitely want the flatter part towards the building. I'm thinking there. That looks good to me. And we kind of want to get this back behind its friend to show that they are still kind of competing with each other, even though it's the same species, and it's not the same plant. So plants do that. They don't care. I just want to stick a few more of these little spots down in here. Come on now. Don't be difficult. Watch your profanity. Watch your profanity. No. Yeah. So this is a good chunk of making little plants for this board, is just slowly sticking dead plants into super glue, waiting for them to stick, thinking that the little tweezers back out, and then watching them fall over. That's a good chunk of making plants with Eli. So yeah, that's a key part. And if you tell anybody our secret about these plants, I will find you. Just kidding. Family Guy reference. Very old Family Guy reference. I haven't watched Family Guy in so many years. There were some very, 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 very funny little bits in that show, though. I will say that. Just overstayed its welcome. Positive note, though, guy's not a diddler. So at least there's that. Bam! Look at that. Oh, but Mr. King Pisser, I like being profane. I also like to be profane. But Mr. Piss, can I have another? Yes. I'm feeling good about that. Let's zoom in here real quick so you guys can kind of see where I'm at. That looks cool. I'm happy with that. Scoot it back just a smidgen. So yeah, that is the one that I just put there. Get a little guy for scale. That looks like a dead plant, in my opinion, growing out of the side of this building. I think seeing it from the angle that like it's intended, it really makes a big difference. Like getting down here and looking at them kind of through these trees has definitely been a experience that I'm like, man, that's gonna be so fucking sick. I'll just kind of give you a quick little peep. Kind of just like that. That is going to be so sick looking when it's all finished being painted. Very, very, very pleased. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Not to toot my own horn. Toot 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 toot. Not to boop my own horn. Boop 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 boop. Now, again, major shout out to Hobby Lobby for having Graveyard Earth, Citadel Paints, Graveyard Earth readily available. That definitely was helpful. I don't know. I really like the little bush though. I'm happy with that. I think because there's going to be trees here. So I've been marking out where the trees are, and also again, 3 inches. I've been trying to kind of stick around that area of no actual trees within 3 inches of this, which has made that like there's certain spots that I can put the trees, but that also makes it to where I'm trying to do it for playability reasons. This is why there's a dot there. That is a very key spot, and it's a very key spot because when we look at this castle from the front, I am trying to make sure that I am minding all my usual art kid bullshit. But I'm trying to make sure I'll get the roof. I'll get the woof. And also pull my pants up. Oh, that wiggled. Not my pants, but the camera. Oh no, the shingle fell out. You came from right there, friend. Not today. Don't have time for you. No, sir. Ain't gonna happen. It's It's not going down like that, okay? Okay, so what is Eli ranting about? I'll tell you, my sweets. The golden angle, golden theory, golden triangle, all that standard bullshit I normally talk about when I like to make art, when I like to design things to go in my house, when I like to do anything. Golden ratio is always very, very present in my mind. And that is because it makes a big fucking difference to how things are received, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. I think my arm's gotten too long and it's slowly starting to wiggle down. Ooh, we got to wiggle down. Oh, nope, it's just not as tight up here as I thought it was. Maybe? Nope. Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. This is confident. This is confidence. Okay, so why am I talking about triangles and that shit? Well, I didn't even say triangles yet. I'm going to. So, this is the front. Okay. Got the front of our little castle. God, that looks so fucking good. So this is the front of the castle. When we look at this, we have our highest point here. It's still not. Okay. Stop that. Actually, I'm dumb. Now hold on a minute, I'm just dumb. Why aren't you running? I can't read. SpongeBob did there for you. Alright, so I'm gonna get this fixed. I promise. Here we are. Oh, Edlers. Hot Daniel. Okay, so a little flustered there. The front of this, we have a lot of golden rule going on because we have our highest point here, and from there we have a lower point, lower point. It creates a natural triangle, and I'm trying to create that illusion no matter what angle you view this from, and I'm trying to do that by establishing, because this is a circle, if I make a counter to that where this tree in the very beginning takes on the role of this tower, this ends up being over, or let's see, I need it to be, the tall needs to be, yeah, here. Essentially, I'm trying to create the same kind of concept of a golden ratio with the building as well as the trees. So depending on where you thought, hey, I thought we were being nice to ourselves now. I don't remember what I said. But you're right, I do need to be nicer to myself. I'm great. I'm great and everybody loves me. I'm great and everybody loves me. Yeah. So, here we go. I'm thinking that by having trees here, another set of trees here. So, actually, what am I doing? I'm crazy. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you with the trees because I have the trees. So, I'm trying to create the idea of three of these being at a height that kind of goes along with the same yes you are and yes we do, boop 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 boop. So see, kind of like that, a opposite to where, depending on where you turn it, we still have the golden rule, but it changes based on what we are referencing. It should make a very pleasing overall kind of vibe, and also to answer a while back, Awesome, you asked, when I make a board, do I think about playability or like design? And I said yes. And it is 50-50. It really is. Like if a part of the board is supposed to be able to be played on, like I intend for it to, it has to be played on. Like it has to be able to have that option. I want certain spots. It's like, yeah, out the get-go, you can't get up there. Like Johnny's boards, if you see a spot that you, and that's really, I mean, I get that from Johnny, but that's also like my own kind of thing. Johnny just does it too. If you see somewhere really cool that you want your model to go, I don't ever want that to be a thing that you're like, oh man, I thought I could do that. Like on one of my boards at least. Like I really like playability. And that's why I try to make areas that I think are going to be really high intensity and high like man, that's going to be really good. That's going to create a place where something fun happens. Something fun's going to happen in that spot of the board. Very similar to Zone Mortalis. Zone Mortalis, a lot of people don't like playing Zone Mortalis with me because I love Zone Mortalis because of how fucking brutal it is. And every game that I play, I want it to be the meat grinder that I know it's going to be from the get-go. So like, I love a big open kill room. Like it's just, we're both trying to get to that door and open that door first to get in the room. Because whoever gets in the room first is going to shoot whoever comes in the room next. A lot easier, or run at them with chainswords. But yeah, that's a big part of why I like boards to have an area where you can get real rowdy, kind of like here. This is the throwdown area, and then I imagine that most throwing down, honestly, I imagine most throwing down on this board will occur outside of the castle. I am really expecting a lot of people to be beaten to death outside of these castle walls, and then a few thrown off. Like, I really suspect that it's just going to be, because there is no, and that is absolutely on my choice. Initially I did think about kind of raising up the ground to show that like the rock, the bricks and everything had fallen out, so there was now room to climb up. And that's because models can climb 3 inches. 3 inches is scalable in this world, so these are scalable. This, I'm gonna say, is scalable. It was supposed to be 3 inches from there, and I'm sure I had like the idea of having like some piles of shit and stuff there. But yeah, so these, you absolutely could scale these without having ladders. I have ladders there because, one, I think they look good, 2, they would have a ladder. But this, I really wanted to establish that this was a wall. Like, this is not a, the name that I have been going with for this is just Coffer Keep, or Coffer's Keep. And that is because it has no door. It does not have a door. There is no way into this from the outside. There is going to be a door up here, like a hatch, like that you have to like kind of come up out of. But that's the only door to this thing is up at the top that goes down into it. And a coffer is a container. So I wanted to make a castle that you don't want to find. Like, as the world is dying and you need to climb to get higher, this doesn't have a door. It's not a castle to keep something, like to keep people like living things in. It's like something is inside of there that is trapped, and it's like it is kept in there. Don't wake it up. That's really what I was wanting to establish with the lore of this piece, at least. Is that there is something much darker afoot within its walls, and that it was built specifically for whatever purpose. I really kind of wanted to have throughout the trees, and I'm going to, but throughout the trees I want to have a few little small, like, runes or whatnot, kind of like painted on the trees to where it looks like they've been carved in, or little like seals hanging from the paper, or like, you know, paper seals hanging from the trees, that kind of stuff. I really want to give it the I want you to look at this and be like, I don't know about that place. I don't think I'd want to go in there. First of all, there's not a door. Second of all, I'm getting bad vibe, and that's really kind of the vibe that I'm wanting it to have. So yeah, I'm really pumped about it. I think we've almost been going for 2 hours now. I'm getting kind of hungry, and I'm definitely really thirsty. And this camera's like looking at the side of my face really intense. So it's just like you think I'm like, oh, I'm gonna peek over here, but then BAM! Yeah, that's me. But okay, I think I'm done. I think I've been talking for too long. I need to eat. I'm sleepy. But I very much appreciate everybody hanging out with me today. I'm also kind of hot, a little warm, a little red, and a little gray. Yeah, got a lot of gray. So, anywho, I'm clearly like, it's time. We're 2 hours deep into this stream. I'm going to call it here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and listening to me rant and talk about damn near everything under the sun. But I do think that I got a lot covered. That one, I showed a little bit of actually working on the board. Yay! That bush. We put that bush there. Wasn't there earlier. Thank you, Possum. And thank you, Atri, for joining when you were on here. Thank you, anyone else that is listening to this afterwards. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for keeping me company and hanging out and not being overly unruly. I was gonna say not being overly just not stoked to see what I do, but I'm not gonna do that because I know you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to. So I need to not shoot myself down. Yeah, be nice to yourselves. Happy Pride Month. Sit pretty. Have a great day. Thank you for your time and thank you for hanging out and keeping me company. I'm not going to post anything, like we're not going to do any streaming tonight just because Sam is coming over and we're going to try to establish some kind of idea. But I'm really excited about that because he is absolutely someone that you will probably see on here playing games with me. He is he's one of my regular people that I play games with, that I make play games with me. And he is open to play anything as long as it's something that I want to play, because he just loves playing any of the stories that I've done. So he's been in my gaming group pretty much since I started doing like role-playing games. Yeah, I'm really excited. So hopefully he will be on here. So you'll get to see him, and hopefully get to watch us play a game or two. Honestly, there's a game that I came up with. I didn't come up with the game. I came up with the story. The game is in Night East, but I really kind of want to revisit this. There was an RPG, and this is really quick. There's an RPG that it's supposed to be robbing a bank vault, and I took that and I instead made it to breaking into Joaquin Phoenix's house and trying to find his treasures, because I came up with a very in-depth, just complete goofy, over the top backstory for like what Joaquin Phoenix was up to. Mike Tyson's there, so yeah, we might play that a little bit. It kind of ended that ended with him being punched to death by Mike Tyson, and never finding Joaquin Phoenix's treasure. So maybe he'll want to play that again. Maybe he won't. If that sounds fun, let me know. I can write out what it is. Margot's there. She had a sword, and they had to fight her. And they thought they killed her, but they didn't. She was like, eh, and stumbled off somewhere. And she showed up later on in the dungeon. She's one of Joaquin Phoenix's boys. That's established. She's also anthropomorphic in this universe. On that note, I don't know how better of a sign-off I can give you than just a last-minute peek into just madness. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, watching the stream. Sit pretty. Happy Pride Month. Go out and be your best selves. Be nice to yourselves. Yeah. Take care. I was looking at this. Take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye, friends.